Okay, we're going to call this hearing to order. I'll begin by reading the notice of public hearing. The notice is hereby given that the following hearing will be held in the Bonneville County Courthouse, 605 North Capitol Avenue, Idaho Falls, Idaho, May 12, 2022 at 1:30 p.m. by the Bonneville County Commissioners for the purpose of a public hearing in relation to the application of Ellsworth Engineering Associates LLC on behalf of AHG Capital LLC for rezone from residential park RP to residential 1.5 R 1.5 zone. General location of this is the north side of 49th East of Wheelhouse Drive, south of Ryrie Highway, Highway 26, Bonneville County. There's a legal description published along with how to attend this remotely and the time and place of this meeting. This was published April 27th, 2022 in the Post Register. Those present are all three commissioners, building and zoning staff, Austin, Gwen, and Michelle. And so we'll open this by, Michelle, are you going to give the staff report and the overview of the application?
Yes.
And we'll go to that point.
Okay, did you want to take everything in for a record minutes?
Yeah, good point. We do have all of the minutes and exhibits and testimony that was submitted at the planning level. And without objection, we'll make that part of the record. So, okay.
All right. Thank you. Michelle Hagan, Assistant Planner with Bonneville County Planning and Zoning. So this is an application by Steve Ellsworth of Ellsworth Engineering on behalf of AHG Capital LLC for a zoning map amendment from the RP to R 1.5. The applicant submitted a second application for the preliminary plat identified as Wolf Meadows, which was reviewed by the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on March 23rd and recommended approval by a unanimous vote to the R 1.5. The property is located on the north side of 49th North, south of Highway 26, and east of the area known as Beach's Corner. The request is for an 8.76 acre parcel, which is a platted lot within the Sorensen Acres subdivision. The land use designation is mixed use. The adjacent land uses are mixed use and urban residential south of 49th North. The proposed R 1.5 zone is one of the zones that can be considered within the mixed use designation. However, that does not mean it should automatically be approved. The adjacent zoning districts, can we get the PowerPoint up, please, Gwen? The adjacent zoning districts, let's go ahead and skip to the land use map. Yep, that's fine.
I don't know why it didn't want to share for some reason.
So this, you see the property outlined in the purple color, and you see all the pink. That is the mixed use land use designation in the area. The hot pink on the south side is urban residential. And then we have, on the other side, we have the larger area of the land use map taking in more space, so that way you can see what it looks like. The adjacent zoning districts, so let's go to the next slide, please. The adjacent zoning districts are RP, C2, A1, and R1. There are multiple subdivisions in the area which are for commercial or residential uses. The application states that the development would be serviced by Iona Bonneville Sewer District and Falls Water. The proposed R 1.5 zoning district allows for single-family dwellings and 0 lot line twin homes. The lot area is for individual single-family homes is 6,000 square feet and a lot width of 60 feet. And the lot area for twin homes is 5,200 square feet and with a lot width requirement of 52 feet. The existing RP zone allows 15,000 square foot lot area and a 90-foot lot width, and allows single-family homes and offices for professional persons and home occupations. So the comprehensive plan has compatibility decisions that should be considered in all map amendments. And these include looking at the compatibility to adjacent uses, as well as determining if the proposed change would create undue concentrations of uses, which would destroy living quality, congest thoroughfares, or overload public facilities. It needs to be determined if the proposed change would create a negative impact on the established existing uses, congest thoroughfares, or overload the public facilities. The proposal must consider protecting the adjoining uses in lot compatibility. Need to consider that comb effect with different zones in an area, especially along the north side of 49th North. There is the undeveloped dense residential zone that's been approved, then existing commercial zones, then a less dense zone with the RP, and then you have the proposed higher density residential, and then back to an agricultural zone, and discuss the compatibility of those zones. We have received some additional information about a project from the Idaho Department of Transportation. The IDT are currently developing a plan to make a major connector between Highway 26 and Highway 20 that will be along 49th North. We did receive comments from Public Works, the director, which were read into the record for the Planning Commission, and one of those comments had been that 49th North is an arterial street. And then the other comments applied to the preliminary plat that was reviewed by Planning Commission. And then we have our standard rezoning conditions, buffering where adjacent to existing commercially zoned properties and or the A1 zone. And then comply with requirements from Public Works, and then the plating requirements. Do we have any other questions for me at this time?
This is Austin Black. Just as a point of clarification, Michelle mentioned the interchange. It'll go down 49th North. It goes from 26 to 20. In that meeting, there was quite a bit of discussion that a majority of that major interchange would take place at the Beaches Corner intersection, and just maybe considering impacts that could have on this whole area. So,
what's the distance between this parcel and the Beaches Corner?
we pull it up here. I bet you're pretty close on that.
A quarter to a half mile. See what it says.
49.
Finding.
It's 0.45 miles.
Yeah, it's in the previous,
2,000 square feet or 2,000 feet?
Yeah.
in the finding when the property was rezoned from the C2 to the RP back in April of 2012, they reference half a mile east from Ammon Road. And that
2,300
includes
feet.
the adjacent Sorensen Acres lot, so it's a little bit further.
Question to
Chairman, I just remembered when I read through the transcript from the planning and zoning, the question, and I'm trying to find it here and I can't. Michelle, you made some comment about when a zone change is done, you cannot go smaller than what the original one. I didn't track that very good in the transcript. Can you
Okay.
explain that to me?
So when you have a subdivision plat that has been approved and recorded, this, you can't, and that has, in this instance, the residential park allows for smaller lot sizes. However, the smallest lot size that they created when they recorded this subdivision was 3 acres. So in order to do a replat and create an additional lot, you can't create any lot that's smaller than the smallest lot platted in the original division. So this, if they were to take this 8-acre parcel and try to replat it into smaller lots, the smallest lot that they could create would be 3 acres, which is, or equivalent to the adjacent parcel as part of Sorensen acres. So then you, when it's appropriate, you can rezone the property to a different zone, and then that allows you to do a replat and create smaller lot sizes.
Okay, so that's part of the reason.
Yes.
Okay, now I understand.
If I can add, I was involved in that 2012, was it?
Yes.
Decision?
2011 is, it started and then was
We
finished.
created that. This all used to be one parcel. They wanted the ability to go below the 10-acre, so they platted it in 2. And I think 3 acre was the home that was in there.
There's a,
And that's the minimum size. And, we didn't consider theirs, that would allow a density of 3 if they decided to plat, let's say the AHG's application now. And did they haven't been able to file a little plat on that, have they?
so they have, they filed the Sorensen Acres plat and they built only one home.
Right.
And we have not received any applications to replat to split the 8-acre parcel into 2. What we received was the request for rezone and a plat to make smaller lot sizes. And I don't think we've ever received a building permit to develop the 8-acre, 8.7-acre parcel. We have.
Which is why we have to be cautious when we approve a zone change, because this is change of ownership. And they presented at the time, which I think was really relevant, but they didn't have family members on the house next door. And in a zone where they could have a little more of an expanded home occupation business, I think the restrictions are quite the same as in the subdivision. Is there lots of outside storage?
In the residential zones, it has to be contained within the home, and you have a certain square footage that can be allocated towards the home occupation. In the agricultural zones, you can have a detached structure for the home occupation, and that could be up to, I think, 2,000 square feet.
And the other part of the findings when I was reviewing those, I remember as a shelf life of sort of 10 years sometimes. But one of the concerns we had was the transition, because a lot of the area to the east was already developed into large rural type lots, mostly 5-10 acres. And I think there's a subdivision called the corner that's used building lots. I don't know what those things are.
Can we go back to the land use
You
map?
talking to the one on the corner of 49th and 45th?
It probably isn't relevant, but
It's larger, it's a larger lot subdivision.
just so we can see the nature of where are,
Those-
what we're being asked to change for, and what the decision was for a buffer and transition into that.
Those other lots that, on the corner of 45th and 49th, those were ag density subdivision plats.
How
Yep.
big those are,
And they're
at least.
going to be at least 1 acre, maybe
Most of them
a
are
little
bigger.
more.
That's
They
what-
vary.
that's
I
what-
can't remember the name of that, it's driving me nuts.
There's 2 of them. There's Sand Creek, Little Sand Creek is so there's the corner of,
It's right here. No, that's 55th, it's right there. Little Sand Creek and
yes, Little Sand Creek, and then there's 2 right there.
yeah, those 2 subdivisions, Little Sand Creek Forest and the other one's a spinoff.
This is the parcel we're talking about
And those
rezoning,
are
where
the
my
2
mouse is hovering.
subdivisions.
Where my mouse is hovering is the parcel that we are
Move the mouse so I can watch it cover.
right here.
Right here. Oh, okay.
Okay, this is Hatch Hollow. And this is the Little Sand Creek.
Little Sand Creek Forest, and I can't remember the name of the other one,
I
but those
can't
are the
remember
2
either.
ag plats.
Okay. Just to refresh my memory.
Yeah.
And then-
That whole area.
And then this is the newest Beaches Corner PUD that was just recently approved. And what is this one? This is
Wolf Creek.
Wolf Creek,
Wolf Creek,
right here.
and then
Sierra
if you go
Springs.
down, Sierra Springs is
Sierra
There.
Springs is down in here.
over a little
But yeah,
bit.
that's kind of the nature.
Okay. So the questions right there. Steve, do you want to state your name and address and present your application?
Steve Ellsworth, Ellsworth and Associates, 253 First Street. Kind of just go over the narrative that we wrote for the planning rezone, that Wolf Meadows is currently Lot 2, Block 1 of Sorensen Acres, and is applying for the rezone from RP to R15. The rezone request is consistent with the current development around the area. Although the zone allows for townhomes, and the development plan for Wolf Meadows, the approved preliminary plat that we already have submitted, is for single-family homes. The requested zoning for the area is consistent with the current zoning proposed in the area. Wolf Creek is 1.5 and as platted lots similar in size to those being proposed by Wolf Meadows in Wolf Creek Division 1, 2, and 3. Sierra Springs and Hatch Hollow are zoned R1, but we also have similar sized lots in Wolf Meadows that's being proposed as in these R1 subdivisions. The property to the north of Wolf Meadows, owned by Sunrise Peak Development LLC, had applied for the R15 zone, and which is consistent with the rezone request for Wolf Meadows. The rezone application has been submitted for single planned unit development to the west at the Old Beaches Corner Commercial Park. They're going for R3, which is a much higher density than which is being requested by Wolf Meadows. Across the street from the proposed Wolf Meadows is a parcel owned by Bonneville Joint School District 91. It would make sense to put a smaller subdivision across the street from a school than essentially 2 lots on 8 acres if they were to try to rezone that. I would like to kind of point out that the RP zone is, those 2 lots in Sorensen Acres is the only RP zone in the area. That just, to me, it makes sense that we would approve a smaller or a higher density zone in the area that's going to be in the area for a future school district.
Questions? Future school district.
If Bonneville School District 93 owns the parcel directly south of this property, I'd assume a school's coming in.
School construction, school building.
Correct.
I thought we were splitting districts. Different process. I do have a couple of questions kind of related to the decision we made, request to transition, which
that would be probably something that I'd probably have to work with Lance Bates at Planning and, or Public Works. And there's already in the requirement that we would be expanding 49th North. We'd be building the dedicated 10 feet that Sorensen dedicated but never built. The requirement from Lance Bates is we build that extra 10 feet. So we would be expanding the right of way there.
To including infrastructure improvement.
Absolutely.
Crossway or pass for school crossing.
We'd probably want to get with Lance and verify what would make sense.
You say that when you point to the smaller density around the area, those are a couple of smaller areas compared to all bigger areas. So you're encouraging us to mirror more of the small areas and the bigger nature, larger lots to the east.
So the larger lots are unplatted lots also. I mean, so coming in with the subdivision, if we're gonna have to expend water and sewer from Wheelhouse Drive across Crow Creek, across Sand Creek, just to get it to our property, to then run it through our property, we need a fair amount of houses to kind of try to pay for that amount of development. That is also gonna expand the water and the sewer to be more right in front of the school district's property.
I think we reviewed this one other time, with district, sewer district boundaries and the edge of your property.
I have verified with Donna Bridges, we are inside the IVSD.
You are in, but on the east side of your property line is that?
You know, I didn't bother to check where that's not something I was platting.
Austin, you looked at that to find out where I am.
I'm pretty sure it's right there, but let me pull it up. I've got a map of it saved out here. In fact, I probably could find it in the email quicker.
He watches it because we're recording anyway, so.
Like all eyes are on me now.
Where's the other, all four of these allies are?
Well, let me search for it. Give me just a second here. Thought it was in my email, but I moved it.
So I can't guarantee there is any more room in the IBSD, but if we are contiguous to that parcel, if there is ground available to annex in, we could annex that in.
So we've heard for a while that it's traded some capacity with what they annexed to save all of it also.
So they're out again, or they're,
Well, within a certain area. Negotiating. And the reason I asked that is because in the testimony in the planning hearing, they talked about this would allow sewer to develop to the east, allowing for greater density growth.
So there's that property right there. Yeah, the boundary's right on that east side. I don't know if you can see that, but that's,
So 49 is the one.
well, it goes up past 49th, but here, I'll walk it up here just so you can see a little better.
This boundary is right here.
That's the subject property right there, so it's right on the edge. This stuff is all.
Some of the questions I have, you can answer that.
well, in the field, any questions?
Anybody else, staff? Okay, with that, we'll call this public forum to a close. We'll take the issue under advisement. Staff will work on proposed findings, which will share independently with each commissioner with their input.
Thank you.
Thanks.